At exactly 10:06 p.m. every weekday, Patricia slid her mop across the cold, tiled floors of the lecture halls at Universidad Federal do Sul. It was a routine etched into her bones. Clean room B12 before the philosophy professor returned for his coat, avoid lecture hall C when the night students were still discussing Marx, and never, ever enter the staff lounge. Not because it was forbidden, but because she knew she didn't belong there. Patricia had been a janitor for over a decade. 47 years old, tired knees, 2 jobs. During the day, she worked at a school. At night, she cleaned classrooms in the university her son had fought tooth and nail to get into. He was the reason she had accepted the night shift. She liked knowing he was close, even if he barely had time for dinner anymore. He was the pride of her life. A full scholarship, engineering, and when she passed him in the courtyard sometimes, pretending not to know her, she didn't mind. Not really. She understood. But one night, everything shifted. It was raining outside, hard. Thunder that shook the windows. The corridors were quieter than usual. The academic chatter replaced by the hum of fluorescent lights. As Patricia wheeled her cart past room F21, she paused. The door was ajar. Inside, a tall woman with silver hair stood at the whiteboard, her voice rich and fluid, speaking of epistemological frameworks and historical trauma. Patricia didn't understand all the words, but something in her chest tightened. She leaned against the doorframe, mop still in hand. For the next 30 minutes, she didn't move. That night, she got home late, soaked to the bone. Her son was already asleep, books spread across the kitchen table, but she didn't wake him. Instead, she opened YouTube on his old tablet and typed one word she remembered from the lecture: decolonial. And just like that, something ignited. Patricia started cleaning faster, quietly, so she could linger longer outside certain classrooms. She made mental schedules of the professors she liked listening to. Professor Anaya on post-colonial theory, Dr. Reyes on public policy. She began collecting discarded syllabi from trash bins, reading them on the bus, writing words she didn't know in a little blue notebook she had found in Lost and Found. At first, it was like eavesdropping on another world, but slowly, it became something more. One evening, she was wiping down the back desks of room CO3 when a young man, barely 20, asked, "Are you the cleaning lady?" She nodded. He smiled. "You should sit in on this class sometime. The professor's amazing." She laughed politely and walked away, but the comment clung to her thoughts. Could she? That weekend, Patricia walked into a public library wearing her cleaning uniform and asked where the adult education section was. She found a GED prep book, borrowed it, then another. For the next 18 months, she studied in secret, on lunch breaks, after mopping floors. Her son thought she was crocheting. At age 49, Patricia passed the GED. She cried in the post office parking lot with the envelope in her hands. Then came night classes, online courses, a social sciences degree via distance learning. She never stopped working, never asked for help. But word began to spread. Professors started recognizing her in the corridors, not just as the janitor, but as the woman who could quote bell hooks or explain Foucault better than their own students. One professor, Dr. Anaya, approached her after a lecture. "Patricia, have you ever considered applying to the university?" Patricia looked down at her shoes. "I don't think I'd get in." "You've already been attending just from the hallway." That night she applied. She was accepted. At 51, Patricia became a student at the same university she had been cleaning for nearly 15 years. She still mopped floors on weekends, but during the week, she sat in the front row. And when a professor once asked a question no one could answer, Patricia raised her hand, calm, certain. The classroom fell silent, and she spoke. Patricia's first day as a student felt like trespassing. She walked the same halls she used to mop, now carrying a backpack instead of a bucket. The janitor uniform was gone. replaced with jeans and a button-up blouse her son had bought her as a surprise. She sat in the back of each lecture, taking notes furiously, asking quiet but sharp questions, always arriving early, always staying late. At night, after class, she'd stay behind and talk with professors about theories she'd heard years earlier while cleaning outside their doors. One literature professor said, "You already know half the syllabus. How?" She smiled. "I used to clean this floor." Within 2 years, Patrícia earned her first degree, then a second in education, then a third in public policy. She applied for a master's scholarship and got it, then a PhD program. Her thesis? About access and inequality in public universities. Her case study? Herself. As her academic achievements grew, so did her impact. She designed night school programs for single mothers. She founded a mentorship project connecting cleaning staff with students. She gave talks that brought standing ovations. Still, she remained humble. Every graduation, she wore the same old shoes. She never forgot the feeling of being invisible. Then, during a faculty meeting, someone nominated her for the role of department head. She hesitated. A professor pulled her aside and said, "You belong at the front now, Patrícia." She accepted. From there, her influence only expanded. In time, she was elected dean. And then, years later, the university announced the selection of a new chancellor. It had been a long, contentious process. The shortlist was competitive. Patrícia hadn't even campaigned. But one morning, she was called into the auditorium. When she stepped in, students and professors rose in unison. A banner hung above the stage. "Congratulations, Chancellor Patrícia da Silva." She froze. Tears welled. Then, applause. The janitor who had once swept the university's halls was now its leader. In her first address, she said, "This institution gave me a broom. Then it gave me a pen. And now, you've given me a podium. Let no one ever say that dreams expire. Sometimes they're just cleaning floors before taking the stage." Today, Chancellor Patrícia has expanded enrollment programs for underprivileged youth, restructured staff benefits, and added a plaque in the janitorial closet that reads, "Every door leads somewhere, even this one." She still walks the halls at night, but now students stop her to ask questions, and she always stops to answer, even if it takes hours, because she knows what it's like to be ignored and what it means to be seen. And today, Chancellor Patrícia still walks these same halls, not with a broom, but with purpose. She stops to talk, she listens, she remembers. Because once she was just the woman cleaning the floor. Now, she's the one changing what happens inside the room. If the story moved you, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Resilient Stories. Every week, we tell real tales of rising against the odds. Your next favorite story might be tomorrow's upload. Hit the bell and don't miss it.